First, I'll kind of just tell you what it was like getting into the real world and having my first job, which I don't really think of it as a job at all. Playing basketball and getting paid for it, it's a pretty awesome thing to do. But just for those of you who might be going out into the real world soon and who's nervous about it and whatnot, for me, I finished my college season, and I think it was 2 weeks later, I was drafted to the Chicago Sky. And for those of you who know my story, I had left Delaware once, and it didn't go so well, and I ended up going back home and staying there for a few years, having an incredible college career. And so I'm drafted, and I have to go to Chicago and move out there. It's a pretty scary experience, not going to lie to you, I was petrified. I'm sure Pokey might have been a little nervous too, if I was going to stick around or not. Just kidding. But yeah, so I move out there. I'm on a brand new team, brand new coaching staff, which they've been incredible, so that made it easy for me. But I'll tell you a quick story. I get to training camp. First day, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make any mistakes. I'm just going to kind of do my job and kind of blend in here, and I'll be okay. So I go through practice. I think I did pretty well. Next day I come back, do the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing really well. I call home to my parents. I'm like, I'm making most of my shots, making some good passes, playing decent defense. Third day, Pokey texts me and she's like, hey, come in before practice. And I'm like, well, I think I've been doing well. I can't be in trouble yet. But of course I'm a little nervous and a little shaky about it. And I walk in and the room's completely black. She's sitting behind her computer, which is never good. That means film. And she's like, take a seat. I'm like, all right. And we start watching film, and I realize that every clip is of me. I was like, this is not like team film here. This is all Elena film. What are we watching? So I'm sitting there. She's not even talking much, and she's going clip to clip to clip. And it's me just passing up wide open shots, not being aggressive, not doing the things that I had done my entire basketball career. And so finally, it felt like an hour, the film ends. And she turns the lights on, amen. And she goes, Elena, the blend must end. And that is something that I'm so grateful to have a leader like Pokey, who brought me in day 3 and didn't allow me to just kind of blend in and not do the things that I'm best at. So, when you're going out there in your new jobs, new careers, whatever you're doing, do what you do best and use your talents to the fullest, because those people are hiring you for a reason. They know what you're capable of, and they want to see the best job that you can possibly do. So when I got to the Chicago Sky, I needed to be a scorer, and I needed to be aggressive. And that's what's going to get us to the playoffs. That's what's going to make us a championship team. So luckily, I me in the butt and give me the wake-up call right away. But you might not be lucky enough to have a leader like that. And unfortunately, if you don't have a leader who pulls you in and tells you you're not pulling the slack, you'll get fired a couple months later. So just make sure you do what you do best and realize your abilities and work towards your strengths whenever you get out there. But now I'll open it up to Q&A, because I know that I only have like a 5-minute span of keeping your attention. That's what it really is, I think.
Our first question was it hard to transition from college basketball to professional basketball?
Great question. Think of that? Okay. To be honest, it wasn't a crazy hard experience for me, and I think that is, number one, great leaders. Pokey was incredible from day one, getting me in the gym, having me work on certain things that she wanted me to do, watching film, and then I also had incredible veterans that were on the team who kind of just brought me under their wing, didn't treat me like a rookie at all, so I didn't expect to play like a rookie. So probably the biggest transition for me was obviously the strength of the game, playing against some very strong women out there, and that's the big reason why I'm here this offseason, is to just get stronger. But also the travel is a bit crazy, and we have 34 games in about 3.5 months, so we're on planes, traveling all over the place. So those are the biggest adjustments that I went through. Good question. Are you going
Our next question was, do you think that you would ever lose the love for the game?
Well, I did lose the love of the game probably throughout my high school career, and I kind of would have to say the recruiting process burnt me out. There you go, that's some good teammates right there. I think it was the recruiting process that kind of burnt me out a little bit and made basketball not so fun, but when I was able to figure things out, leave Connecticut, come home, be around my family, realize what's most important to me, the love of the game was always there, and it was never the game's fault for taking me away from home. So now that I figured that out, I would never lose the love for it, and I do love this game, and I'll play as long as I possibly can.
Hi, I'm Haley Lindblom, freshman.
Did you send all the freshmen up? No,
She's her biggest fan right here. She loves you. Okay. Okay, how important is it for an event to be as enthusiastic and motivated as the players on the floor?
I would say it's just as important as how hard the players on the court are playing. So we have someone on our team, her name is Shay Murphy, and she provides so much energy I can't even begin to describe. But if you ever come to a Chicago Sky game, or if you've ever been there, watch Shay. It might be even more entertaining than what's going on the court. But I'm telling you, when we're going through a rough spell or something like that, if we look over to Shay, she's still cheering, going crazy for us, and always just supporting us. So I think, they're just as crucial as the people on the court.
Hey, I'm Angelique Young. I'm a sophomore here. Okay, so this question is, how do you feel about younger basketball players looking up to you as an idol?
I think it's incredible to think that I'm an idol to, younger athletes aspiring to be something. And I just know when I was growing up, Michael Jordan was my idol. I literally watched every regular season game of his, any commercial he was in, anything he was doing, I wanted to be Michael Jordan. So I also know, how important it is to be a great role model for those looking up, because they're going to want to aspire to be me and do things that I'm doing. So I think, I think it's very important that I kind of just can be the best role model possible. And when I go out and I'm having a good time, or partying or whatever, which I don't do that much, you kind of got to keep things top of mind and realize that there's young kids out there who might be aspiring to be just like me. So whatever you're doing on Twitter or whatever, if you might be a role model, be careful. Got it?
So, how does it feel to be the WNBA's Rookie of the Year?
It feels great. I'm not going to lie though, it felt even better knowing that we made playoffs for the first time. And I think it'd feel incredible to win a WNBA championship. So obviously individual awards are, great to have and mean a lot to me, but those team awards are by far the most important thing that drive me.
Okay, where do you get your competitive nature?
My competitive nature. Truthfully, I think I was born with it, and I have an older brother, and I think the second that I was born, I started competing against him and just wanted to beat him in anything possible, anything that I was doing. When I was 3 years old, my mom found me in the garage taking the training wheels off my bike so I could ride faster than my brother. She thought I was crazy, but it really is something I do think is kind of innate and that you're born with. And that little 3-year-old taking off the training wheels is the same me now, wanting to crush any team that we come against.
what is your mentality going into the game and preparing for a game?
So going into a game, I think Pokey has said that I have kind of a boxer's mentality, where I get kind of like just really serious and focused and like just ready for battle. So I'll be sitting on the bench and I just kind of am getting in the zone and just kind of thinking about the things that I need to do to prepare to win the game, and you know, the things that we've been practicing the week prior to the game, and just kind of rehearsing things inside in my head, so then when it's game time, it's kind of just all reaction and just a feel.
Were there any obstacles that you had to overcome?
I think the biggest obstacle in my career that I had to overcome was when I contracted Lyme disease. I don't know if many of you are aware of what Lyme disease is, but you get bit by a tick, and it's a pretty rough spell that you go through. And there was a time where doctors weren't really sure what was wrong with me. It was my sophomore year of college. I couldn't hold my arms up for more than 10 seconds without them dropping to my side. I think I was sleeping 18 hours out of the day. So that was definitely probably the roughest thing I've had to overcome, and I'm still fighting it. And you know, Pokey works with me through it and realizes that there's things that I need to do to stay healthy. Different treatment. I go to the hospital and get IV treatment. So it's something I kind of just live with and fight through, but definitely my biggest obstacle.
So, were there anyone like who doubted you and like you proved them wrong in any type of way?
There were definitely a lot of doubters, especially when I left Connecticut and went to Delaware. You know, a lot of people were just saying she couldn't compete at Connecticut. She wasn't good enough to hack it there. That's why she went to Delaware. We'll see what she's all about when she hits the pros. She doesn't play against tough teams. She's really not anything. She'll just kind of be a college has-been once she gets to the WNBA. So clearly that drove me, and I wanted to definitely prove myself to those doubters. And I think, you know, obviously you don't want to listen to the doubters all the time, but you can sometimes use that to motivate you and make you push that much harder, and that's something that I did.
I have a question to ask on behalf of the coaches that had a question for both of you. Some teams here experience horrific seasons. Some teams here had really, really good seasons. Some teams here were kind of right in the middle. What can you say to all levels? If somebody had a really tough time, really great time, and kind of right there, just ready to really be really, really good.
I'll take this one. I think it goes back to respecting the process, and we always talk about in coaches, there's a game within the game. Did that freshman have improvement over the halfway mark? Did you allow less points, give up less points defensively? Like, we would break the game down in areas that we struggled, and then you try to win the game within the game. And then when you get that middle tier, I mean, as coaches, you know the 3 areas. Sometimes it's 5 areas, sometimes it's 10 that you need to improve. But we would always break the game down into smaller pieces and try to win the game within the game, so everyone experienced success on the team level, but more importantly on the individual level, because the best way to improve the team is to improve the individual, and that's kind of how we approached it. What is basketball to you? Like, what does it mean to you?
I mean, I think, no offense to other sports, I think it's the most amazing sport out there. It's always been a part of my life since I was 4 years old. I started playing this sport, and I've been playing it ever since. And it's just taught me so many lessons outside of the game that will carry me through life and, you know, just carry me through my future. And I love the game. I love the competitive nature of it. I love the team aspect of basketball. So there's really nothing I can say bad about this sport. It's amazing. Anyone out here have questions?
So we're not just athletes. No. Like, I'm an athlete. All of us are athletes, but we're more than just athletes. How do you deal with it when the sky is the limit and you don't want it to be the limit?
Do you take philosophy? Okay. Well, I don't think the sky's the limit. I don't see any limits when it comes to something that I love. And right now, that's basketball, and that's where my passion's at. With my family, it's the same way. I don't think there's ever any limits. My sister has special needs, and she was given limits from birth by doctors saying she'll never be able to walk, she'll never be able to lift her head up. So she's always been someone who's just blasted through limits, and I have a role model like that to look up to. So they don't exist in my life.
My name is CJ Paisley, and you're nice and tall. But one question I have is, how important is team bonding to you?
I think team bonding is very important. In college, actually, in my first 2 years, we were pretty successful. We had winning seasons, but we just weren't able to get over that hump, and we brought in a team coach who only did team bonding with us, nothing with basketball, just trust balls, passing balls around, doing all these different games, and it made the biggest difference ever, having that trust with one another on and off the court. So I do think team bonding is huge, and if your team's not getting along, you're not going to be successful.
Hi, I'm Steve. What's your favorite thing to do in Chicago other than basketball?
Great question. Favorite thing is going to the dog beach with my Great Dane. Whenever I get free time in the summer, I head straight to the dog beach and go play with him.
Sarah Spain wanted me to ask you about your dog, Wrigley.
Well, there you go. I brought Wrigley up. I always have to bring him up in Q&A somehow. So yeah, by the way, his name is Wrigley. Not right now, no. Pokey won't let me either, but if you ever want to come play, we're always playing. Me and a bunch of guys play pickups every day. But you gotta get past Miles first, so I don't know about that. In my dreams.
You sound like the ultimate competitor, and I'm the men's coach here. Can you give us like a Brittany Griner story of how good is she? Because I think you really outplayed her, whipped her butt when you first matched up against her.
That's a nice question too. But like I kind of said, where I was first game of the season, we're up against Brittany, and all the talk had been about Brittany. She'd been drafted #1. The talk throughout my college career was about Brittany, and all those doubters would say that I couldn't play against good competition. Just wait till she comes up against top players like a Brittany. So that was motivation in itself, and we were able to blow them out that first game, and it felt great.
Brittany got 2 dunks, Elena got 22 points.
Yeah, so that's basically how that went.
We can't begin to thank you enough